What if the most dangerous people in history that were not warriors, not kings, not rebels, but those who walked away from power? Because when someone refuses control, the system loses its grip. 2,000 years ago, one man did exactly that. He didn't fight the world. He exposed it and disappeared. His name was Lao Tzu. And if you think his story is over, you are about to hear the most dangerous part. If you are new here, let me summarize the truth in one sentence. Lao Tzu taught that the world is not broken. It is forced. He showed that chasing, controlling, proving, dominating, that is the root of human suffering. He called the natural way the Tao, that the flow that exists before ego, before fear, before systems. And when he revealed this truth, he didn't stay to explain. He walked away. And that is where part 2 begins. Because what happens after a man disappears that tells you more than his entire life. This is the chapter they never wanted you to hear. The book that was never meant to rule. After leaving the system, Lao Tzu did not plan to become a teacher. He never wanted followers. He never wanted his name to survive history. For him, wisdom was not something to be owned or displayed. It was something to be lived quietly. Yet fate intervened. At the western border, a gatekeeper recognized that this man carried something rare. Not authority, not ambition, but clarity. The gatekeeper asked Lao Tzu to write down what he knew, that not for power, not for kings, but so the knowledge would not disappear with him. Lao Tzu agreed, not because he believed words were superior, but because he knew silence can also speak through ink. He wrote slowly, carefully, as if every word had weight. What he created was not a rule book. It was not a philosophy of control. It was not advice on how to conquer the world. It was a mirror. This text would later be called the Tao Te Ching, a small book, simple language, short verses, but inside it was something dangerous, a way of seeing life without forcing it. Lao Tzu did not explain the Tao directly, because he believed the moment you define truth, that you limit it. Instead, he described it through paradoxes, through opposites, through quiet contradictions. He wrote that water, though soft, shapes mountains, that emptiness gives usefulness to a vessel, that the strongest trees break first in storms. These ideas were not poetic decoration. They were warnings. Lao Tzu was pointing at a truth most societies refuse to accept. Life does not respond well to control. It flows best when allowed. Where rulers demanded obedience, Lao Tzu spoke of harmony. Where systems celebrated force, he praised gentleness. Where people chased achievement, he spoke of returning. The Tao Te Ching did not teach people how to rise above others. It taught them how to stop fighting themselves. It did not promise success. It promised balance. Lao Tzu believed suffering increases the moment humans try to dominate what cannot be owned. Nature, time, people, even their own minds. To him, the greatest illusion was control. The greatest wisdom was alignment. Once the writing was finished, Lao Tzu did not stay to explain it. He did not defend it. He did not promote it. He left. And once again, he vanished into history. No disciples followed. No empire carried his banner. Only the book remained. Quiet, waiting. This part of Lao Tzu's life reveals something crucial. He trusted truth enough to let it stand alone. He believed that real wisdom does not need protection. It survives because those who are ready will find it, and those who are not will walk past it without noticing. Lao Tzu, the war against the ego. Lao Tzu believed that the greatest problem of humanity was not poverty, not war, not even corrupt rulers. He believed the real problem was the human ego. According to Lao Tzu, the moment a person says that I am important, I must be powerful, I must be remembered, they immediately move away from the Tao, the natural flow of life. He noticed something disturbing about human behavior. The more people try to control life, the more chaotic life becomes. That is why Lao Tzu did not study kings or warriors. He studied nature. He watched rivers. A river never argues with rocks. It doesn't fight obstacles. It doesn't rush. Yet over time, that soft water cuts through the hardest mountains. Lao Tzu used this as a powerful metaphor. He said, "What is soft survives. What is hard eventually collapses. That is why empires fall, but nature remains." This idea completely flipped the definition of strength. To Lao Tzu, shouting was weakness, aggression was fear, control was insecurity. True power, he believed, is quiet. He warned that when leaders try to control every detail, that society becomes tense. When rulers create too many laws, that people become criminals without realizing it. Because when freedom disappears, that rebellion is born. Lao Tzu imagined a very different kind of leader. A leader who does not constantly announce authority. A leader who does not chase credit. A leader whose presence is barely felt. And when things go right, that people do not praise the ruler. They simply say, "We did this ourselves." That, Lao Tzu believed, that is the highest form of leadership, not domination, not fear, but invisible guidance. In a world obsessed with power, Lao Tzu chose disappearance. And that choice made his philosophy immortal. When you stop controlling life, there comes a moment in every human life when effort becomes exhaustion. You push harder, plan more, control every detail, yet peace moves farther away. Lao Tzu noticed this centuries ago. He saw that human suffering does not come from weakness, it comes from over-effort, from the belief that life must be forced to obey us. Lao Tzu quietly asked a question that still makes people uncomfortable. What if life flows better when you stop interfering? This was not laziness. This was intelligence. He observed nature carefully. Rivers do not hurry. Trees do not compete. Seasons do not panic. Yet everything arrives on time. Lao Tzu realized that control is not strength. Alignment is. Lao Tzu introduced the idea of Wu Wei, a concept that people often misunderstand. Wu Wei does not mean do nothing. It means do nothing that goes against the natural flow. Imagine swimming against a river. You use all your energy and still go nowhere. Now imagine turning around and letting the current carry you while you guide yourself gently. That is Wu Wei. Lao Tzu believed that most people exhaust themselves by fighting life instead of listening to it. They resist change, chase validation, and force outcomes, then wonder why they feel empty. According to Lao Tzu, when action comes from fear, it creates chaos. When action comes from awareness, it creates harmony. He also warned about the illusion of control. Lao Tzu believed that the more a person tries to control others, the more they lose control of themselves. Power, in his eyes, was not domination, it was restraint. He said the strongest leaders are barely noticed. They do not shout orders. They do not prove authority. They move quietly, allowing people to grow on their own. This idea shocked rulers, kings, and systems built on force. Because if people learned self-mastery, external control would collapse. Lao Tzu was not just teaching philosophy. He was exposing the psychology of power. Another uncomfortable truth Lao Tzu revealed was about desire. He saw desire as endless hunger. The more you feed it, the louder it becomes. People believe desire motivates them, but Lao Tzu saw that it enslaves them. He noticed that contentment does not come from getting more. It comes from wanting less. A person who needs nothing cannot be controlled. This idea was dangerous because economies, hierarchies, and authority depend on dissatisfaction. Lao Tzu wasn't asking people to abandon life. He was asking them to stop letting desire dictate their worth. Life does not need your aggression, it needs your presence. When you stop forcing, clarity appears. When you stop chasing, direction emerges. Lao Tzu believed that the mind becomes clear not by adding knowledge, but by removing noise. Silence was not emptiness to him. It was intelligence without distraction. And only in that silence can a person hear the Tao moving through them. The power of emptiness and softness over strength. Lao Tzu said, "The world mistakes loudness for strength. Empires shout. Merchants flaunt. Scholars boast. But the real power is silent, invisible, and empty. A bowl is useful because it is empty. A house shelters because it has space inside. Life works the same way. What is not forced carries the most weight. Stop filling every void. Stop chasing recognition. Clear your mind, quiet your heart, and suddenly, clarity appears. Softness is stronger than force. Water carves mountains. Bamboo bends in storms. The weak survive. The rigid break. Yielding is not surrender. Letting go is ultimate control. Desire, ambition, control. These are invisible chains. Those who fight life exhaust themselves. Those who align with the flow move effortlessly. Silent, soft, empty. These are the weapons the world never sees coming. Lao Tzu's final lesson here. The loud fall. The strong break. The quiet. The flexible. The surrendered. They outlast everything. Why Lao Tzu walked away. Lao Tzu did not vanish because he feared the world. He vanished because the world cannot hold the truth. He had taught kings and scholars, politicians and merchants, that yet most refused to understand. They wanted rules, control, power. He offered silence, patience, and flow. He realized something every philosopher knows, but few admit. Truth is dangerous. It threatens comfort. It exposes illusions. So Lao Tzu did the unthinkable. He walked away, not into hiding, but into the unknown, into mountains, rivers, and forests where the world's clamor could not reach him. This disappearance was a final lesson. You cannot force wisdom on those who refuse to see. You cannot fight ego with ego. You cannot teach flow to those who fight every current. He became invisible, yet his ideas did not vanish. Every word, every metaphor, every story he left behind became a silent guide. Those who were ready found clarity. Those who were not continued in chaos. Lao Tzu wanted to show that true mastery is to let go, even of recognition, even of followers, even of your own name. He walked away, leaving only a whisper behind. Follow the path quietly, act without forcing, and the world will move through you. In his absence, the power of emptiness became visible, softness became strong, silence became louder than armies. And the teacher's greatest lesson was this: the most important truths are the ones you find on your own. The Tao in your life. Lao Tzu did not leave you a manual. He left you a path, a river that flows, a mountain that stands, a silence that speaks louder than words. He wanted you to notice the simplest truths. Stop forcing, stop controlling, stop chasing what cannot be held. Life is not a battle. It is not a race. It is a flow. And the moment you resist the flow, you stumble. Wu Wei, effortless action, is not laziness. It is intelligence. It is listening. It is moving with life, not against it. Emptiness is not weakness. Softness is not surrender. Silence is not absence. These are your weapons, if you dare to understand them. Lao Tzu teaches that power is subtle, that success is invisible, and wisdom is experienced, not explained. The Tao exists in every decision you make, that in every moment you let go, that in every time you choose patience over force, that clarity over noise, that flow over rigidity. If you remember only one thing from Lao Tzu, let it be this: the world does not need your aggression, it needs your presence. And presence, Lao Tzu shows, that is the most radical revolution of all. The secrets Lao Tzu never told are still waiting. Subscribe now to unlock the hidden wisdom and see life differently. Turn on notifications and don't miss the next mind-shattering truth.